As you can see graphically, Dennis has done a pretty good job of keeping the ball in play here this afternoon. Now he finds himself trailing by 44. Not where you'd like to be.
Especially with only half a game to go. He's got to start striking now and almost strike all the way out. That's one.
Well, they must have heard you. You have to take them one at a time at this point, don't you, Michael?
Well, it's down to, I mean, when a guy's shooting 229 at you right now and you're shooting 185, I mean, you're thinking fifth frame, I can still get 235. I've got to do it. My back's to the wall. I just got to have every one.
Darrel, very deliberate. Works for his father in an electrical contracting company in Brooklyn, New York.
He has to remain aggressive, though, and not give his opponent any breathing room at all. Just like that.
Boy, he's putting the vice grip on Samsel right now. He's jumped off to a quick lead, and he's trying to add to it at this stage. The gentleman there with the maroon tie, tournament founder, Buddy Finkelberg, and he really enjoys this tournament. And I think, he's almost like a father to all of these guys out here. He groans with them and cheers with them and cries and everything else.
And Darrel's just a different bowler in this match than he was in the previous match. Just shows you that little intangible of confidence. A little more speed, and the ball didn't make it back. Leaves the 2-pin.
Well, he's given it plenty of room, isn't he?
Gave it lots of room, but just threw it a little bit harder. The ball skidded another 2 or 3 feet down the lane and started its break a little bit later. Didn't make it back.
Darrel with 5 career 300 games, a high series of 767. Current average 207. Samsel is up in a hurry.
Well, he just has to start striking. He's already got one. He can cut that 44-pin lead down to 34 with a strike here.
Well, he's pretty much got to take it off the sheet or he's done for the day.
This is Mr. Intensity.
That is just about as good as you're going to get it done in that situation. And as we mentioned a couple of times, there's no tomorrow for either one of these players. Been a marvelous week of action here. A lot of great match play bowling. And I know you always enjoyed bowling the match play on the PBA Tour, Mike.
Well, never for this kind of money, though, Dan. I didn't. But I'll tell you, you find out a little bit about yourself in a situation like this, of whether you have it, the courage in your heart to stand up there and keep throwing strikes for this kind of money and this kind of pressure. Gave it a lot of room. Boy, it came back, too. Woo!
Well, counter punching and trying to just stay alive at this point is Dennis Samsel. There you see him. Talk about running it out. Boy, look at the footwork there, and he's kind of right back in Darrel's face there, Mike Durbin.
A little message there, do you think?
Perhaps.
It's a 24-pin match. I'll tell you, any mistake right now by Darrel Ian, and the momentum will swing back the other way. This game of bowling can change so quickly. Oh, no mistake there. Is this crowd into it, Dan?
Well, they all realize what kind of money these players are bowling for. I wonder if it was even more difficult for Darrel to nail down the top spot yesterday than to come back today and bowl for the 250,000, because you're guaranteed at least 100,000 if you get there.
I know, but right now, this is the most pressure he's ever been under right now. This ninth frame up 24 can increase it to 34.
Boy, he's just shifted into high gear, and just rips the rack on the left-hand lane, and he is in control at this point with $250,000 on the line.
Denny, that put him in the 230 bracket. The best Samsel can get if he strikes all the way out is 235. Samsel knows what he has to do. Let's see if he can stand up there and do it.
A little ground level look there. Not wasting a whole lot of time.
Oh, boy.
Well, both of these players have risen to the occasion, and I think that's what's so great about this tournament as well, Mike. It's a situation where you're never out of it until the game is over, until they've flat told you to take your ball back to the paddock.
Well, if he gets this first one, he's going to cut it down to 14 pins. That could make Ian get some kind of mark in that 10th frame.
Which wouldn't be easy. Another good shot. Oh, rips the rack once again. The 10-pin, the last to topple, but Samsel has done anything but give up at this point.
Down to a 14-pin match. One more puts him in the 230s. He'd make iron not only mark, but maintain a good count.
Boy, you look back to that 5th frame, the mistake he made in the 5th, and boy, what a costly error that was.
If he'd have got 9 out, 2 more pins would have made a lot of difference at that stage.
Sure. That's why you always got to get as many as possible. Needs another strike to put a little more pressure on this one. Doesn't quite get back to the pocket in the 2-pin stand.
Did you see his hand go over the top of the ball that time? He spun it a little bit more, and it just wouldn't hook back. Spare, and he's going to finish with 224.
Well, I'm not so sure I could go out there and shoot 224 for $250,000. How about you?
If my calculations are right, I think Darrel simply needs 9. If he gets 9 on that first ball, he's definitely going to be a winner.
Do you think he knows that at this point?
Right now, I think he's thinking he needs a mark, some kind of mark to wrap it up.
Little quick check of the scoreboard. He's been a cool customer here, and this one is for $250,000.
Actually, he could get 8, 9 out, but he got a strike.
Oh, and he knows how sweet the victory is. Gets the high fives. Darrel out of Brooklyn, New York, wins $250,000 big ones in Las Vegas.
How sweet it is.
Woo! Tell you could pay a few electric bills with $250,000, can't you?
Man, he just never hesitated on that shot, just like it was for $2.
Well, just continues to roll right along here, and with a strike here would shoot 259, and I'd say that's not too bad under all the pressure.
Especially as high game is 229 all week long, and when it really mattered, when he had to do it, he bowls his best game of the week.
Doesn't make any difference now, and he wins 10 out of 11 matches and gets a big hug from Buddy Finkelberg, and he'll be getting a big check worth $250,000 in just a couple of minutes. And there you see a very disappointed Dennis Samsel, but how disappointed can you be when you win $100,000 for finishing second? Congratulations down the line for Darrel. And you see Vial Blanke, who finished up 4th. And the big game, 259 to 224. Lots of strikes for Darrel, and of course, $250,000 richer. That youngster from Brooklyn, New York, only 26 years of age, and we'll be back to hand him a big check worth $250,000.
That's about as exciting as it could possibly get. And there's a gentleman just to your left that's going to make your dream come true, buddy.
Darrel, on behalf of the American Dream Classic and Lucky Strikes, I would like to present you with this check for $250,000.
I'd just like to say thank you, buddy, and thank you, Sam's Town. Thank you, Lucky Strikes, for sponsoring the tournament. It gives us people not on the tour a chance to make some money. And I'm not going to mention names home because I might forget somebody, but I will say thank you to Charlie Venable because he worked on my game to get me here.
Mike, do you have a question for our newest champion?
Well, what was going through my mind, Darrel, is that in that first game, you were just totally lost. You weren't hitting the pocket. It looked like you weren't getting out of the ball clean. Then all of a sudden you made some kind of change. You came out in that second game through the first 4 strikes and made all good shots. What change did you make?
Just what you said. I got away from making good shots. If somebody was standing next to the approach, they heard me say, make good shots. And that's all I did after that. I made good shots.
You were looking at your thumb hole constantly in that first game and fiddling with it. Was there something wrong with the tape in there?
The tape on the bottom was coming out. And I didn't have time to put 10 pieces in there, so I had to leave it there and forget about it and just make some good shots.
Well, you made them that second game. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Darrel, I just wanted to mention that Mike and I are both starting an accounting firm, so that if you need some help to determine what to do with that $250,000, we're available. But what will you do with $250,000?
Well, my wife's expecting a baby in November, so that's where it'll go.
To the college education. Well, that just about wraps it up from Samstown in Las Vegas, the land of opportunity. There you see him from Brooklyn, New York. He's $250,000 richer. So long, everybody.
The American Dream Classic has been brought to you by Sure Antiperspirant. Get Sure and be just as sure about odor as you are about wetness.